having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
Hi guys, welcome back. So today I thought we would do a soup recipe in the Instant Pot. I feel like people are really loving their Instant Pots right now this time of the year. I totally get it. They're so convenient for sure. And I want to do French onion soup. That's been one of my like go-tos for the season. I just love it. I love a good brothy soup. It just feels good on the throat. It's that time of year, you know? I do have a French onion soup recipe already that I have shared with you guys in the past, but it is just on the stovetop. So we're gonna, condense our time down a little bit. But I will still say, you wanna spend, with French onion soup in general, I feel like you really, really wanna take your time with caramelizing all your onions. By the way, if I look really like puffy and stuff, these onions they won, they did. I was actually starting this on camera, chopping them like, yeah, that's not gonna work. So I pre-chopped all these or sliced them into thin slices and took a little minute, but whoo, they are potent. But anyway, you want to spend a good amount of time, maybe 20, 25 minutes, give or take, whether you're doing it in your Instant Pot or on the stovetop, and really, really let these brown up and soften up and caramelize and all the things, because that's really gonna bring a true like French onion soup together. You gotta do it. But otherwise, once you get through that step, because it's the Instant Pot, it's gonna be super fast. So I'm into it because really, yeah, it can take like an hour or more. Hour and a half probably on the stovetop. It's delicious, it smells wonderful, but you gotta be really patient, which you know is not my forte. So there's that. But I did go ahead and chop about 3 to 4 large onions, and just yellow onions here. And again, you wanna do kind of like thinly sliced, just something like that. I'm gonna set them aside because I really can feel them still. And then I'm gonna kind of go over the ingredients with you and we'll kind of do it together. But for the sake of noise and stuff, I was gonna just kind of show you what I'm putting in here, and I'll kind of do it off camera for you guys, because once this does start sauteing, it can get a little obnoxious in the background of just that sound. But anyway, we are going to take about 3 tablespoons. I still have my stick butter from when we were doing baking last week, into your Instant Pot. How you guys doing though? I got a run in today. I did do it, but the sun literally never came out, and it's like 41 degrees as a high today, I think. I'm just not feeling it. My hair was like all kinds of frizz, and it's just what it is anyway. And then I'm gonna take the extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm gonna use this one right here because I am just so obsessed with this lately. But if you don't have it, of course, you can always use just regular olive oil. That's fine. But this is just so good from Trader Joe's. I love it. So I'm gonna do like a tablespoon or so of that. Maybe a little extra because it's good. And then I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna melt this down, and I'm gonna add my onions into it, and a little pinch, like just half a tablespoon tops of sugar. And that's really gonna help bring out the flavor in them as well. You gotta do it, it's delicious. And yeah, I'm gonna let this cook up for about 25 minutes or so. We'll see how it kind of comes together. And I'll check back with you guys at that point, and I'll show you what we'll do next. All right, so I just turned it off, but I know it's kind of noisy, but I want you guys to see this part. So this is exactly 20 minutes, and you can see how some of it's browned up. So they're all super soft though. But then what you'll notice, see on the bottom, there is like those brown bits. That is flavor, my friends. We want that. So again, I turned it off, and what we're gonna do now is add some dry white wine, or you can do like white wine vinegar. That's totally fine too. That's actually what I'm gonna use, but whatever you want. So here is half a cup. And we're gonna let that cook away for about like 3 more minutes. And it's gonna pick up all that brown goodness on the bottom. Yum. And honestly, that was definitely faster. Even though it was still 20 minutes of doing it, if you do it on the stovetop, I've done it before, and it does take usually like 40 minutes maybe. doesn't that look so good? If you're an French onion soup lover, you're gonna love it. All right, so that is just kind of cooling a little bit back there. And we're gonna bring it up to pressure now with our liquid and some seasoning. So here's my little 2 cents on what I have found to make French onion soup really good, vegan. And if you are not super familiar with why it may not be vegan, because clearly the base is pretty much onion, right? But come to find out, I didn't know this in the beginning. I mean, it's been like almost 5 years of eating this way and I still learn things for sure. But I do remember in the beginning, I'm like, well, why wouldn't it be vegan? Well, typically it's made with like a beef broth, or sometimes some places would be like a chicken broth too. But it's rarely made already like ready to go, buy it out of a can or buy it like from a deli or like Panera even. That's popular there. I used to love it there, but it's not, it's a beef broth. So we're gonna use, of course, some of my like tried and true favorite things. You can totally use like a veggie stock too, already like boxed or canned, but we're gonna do the Better Than Bouillon seasoning base. I've just talked about this in my little pantry tour earlier this week. In fact, I love it. You can pretty much find this everywhere now, but it is just this really dark base. And like basically 1 teaspoon, I love the smell of it. It's strong, but 1 teaspoon is like the equivalent of like 1 bouillon cube. And you could totally use those too. I think they make some vegan ones now that are actually like the little cubes. I've just personally never have tried them. So we're gonna do about 3 cups of the liquid now with this. I'll just, I eyeball it, you know, good scoop, get some flavor. And we're gonna reserve about half a cup for a little bit later, but pretty much all the liquid's going in, just that little bit. And I'll explain when we get there. But then, again, so like I said, it's mostly like a beef base typically. So we're gonna try to mimic that the best way that we can. And I have the Annie's Worcestershire sauce. I love this. It's very, very good, and it is vegan friendly. If you did not know, a lot of them have anchovies in it. Did not know this. So I'm just giving you my feedback of what I've learned, but we're gonna put like a tablespoon or so of this in there as well. And then this is my little newfound thing that personally I feel kind of takes on a beef broth. It just does to me. Maybe it really doesn't, but to me it does. So I like to add this when I'm kind of trying to get that. It's the umami seasoning from Trader Joe's. It's like a mushroom base, which you guys know I hate mushrooms, but I love this. And I just feel, you know, like, okay, so there's the vegan chickenless what is it? This one. The vegan chickenless seasoning salt. This would probably be good in here too, but I don't really want that chicken flavor to come across. We want more of the beef side. So to me, this smells like chicken top ramen. You know the one, like the 20-cent packs, and then it comes with a little pack, and when you bust it open, it has that smell. You know what I'm talking about. Well, to me, this is the beef flavored one of top ramen. I swear to you. So in my mind, I'm like, well, then clearly you use this when you want like a beef flavor. I'm just saying. So I'm gonna use that too. I'm gonna put some salt and pepper, kind of to taste. Start with little, you can always add more at the end. I also think fresh thyme is really, really good in French onion soup. If you do not have fresh thyme, of course use dried, that's fine. But I do have a little bit left. So I'm gonna do maybe like half a tablespoon or so of some fresh thyme. I'll pull it off the stems here. And then we're gonna do 1 bay leaf as well. And that's pretty much it for the first round of liquids. So let's go do it. All right, so I'm gonna put a good scoop here, maybe a tiny bit more. I love it. That's probably good. Of the Better Than Bouillon. Let's do our bay leaf. If you make your own homemade beans or rice, bay leaf is awesome in it. Take some of that umami seasoning. And some of that Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of pepper, salt, which I kind of just go light with because again, you're getting so much salt from the bouillon base as is. And again, you can add it at the end if it needs it. And then the fresh thyme. So then again, I have about 3.5 cups here total, and I'm gonna do most of it right now. but reserve a little bit. A little more. And this little bit right here, we're gonna end up adding a little bit of flour to it. Now again, this is still a brothy soup, but I do think there's a difference between being really like watery and still brothy. You know what I mean? So we wanna thicken it up a tiny bit. I think it makes a big difference in the overall flavor, but it's not gonna be like super thick or creamy, you know? There's like that little fine line. Doesn't that look good already? It smells delicious. All right, so then we're gonna put our lid on and we're gonna bring this up to pressure for 6 minutes. All right, so it just turned off and we're gonna release the pressure. I know it's scary. It smells really good. I can smell that Worcestershire sauce. And let's turn on the Sauté feature. So we're actually done with doing like pressure. We did it that one time, that's all it needs, but we are gonna let it kind of cook up a little bit more with this flour, just to get that raw flour taste out with just, again, the Sauté feature. Let's add that. And again, what this will do is it will thicken it up a little bit, but it won't be like creamy. It'll just be really nice brothy and not watery. Really good. Let's remove the, don't stick your hand completely into that hot water, but let's remove the bay leaf too. Don't want to eat that. But I think we should make, some sourdough bread. Now, traditionally too, with French onion soup, a lot of people will put like sourdough crouton type things into it, or you can do the bread on the side, of course. But another thing that's really common is like Gruyere cheese, and I'm sure that's delicious in it. And then you can kind of like broil it on top too when you're like serving it. It'd be wonderful. But I'm thinking you could use that vegan parm from Life, and that would still like take on that flavor for the most part. All right, so I'm gonna let that cook up just for, again, 5 minutes or so. We're gonna put it to the test. You see all that? So I took half of my toast and made it into little cubes on top. And then we got the other half here. But let's try it out. Let's do this thing. Let's burn our mouths. Miss Impatient, right? I can definitely smell that Worcestershire. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I can smell it. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Yep, wouldn't change a thing. I'm telling you, if you crave that and you want that like rich kind of beef broth, it's so good. There should be no crunchiness at all to the onions. It won't be in that pressure cooker for sure, but of course take that time in the beginning to really bring out the sweetness in them, and you will taste it. It's awesome. Hot. And I got leftovers for Nate. Don't burn yourself. Look at that. Oh yes. Ready? Can't say I didn't make him no lunch. All right, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys tried this out. If this is kind of like a soup that you missed, because I know it's hard to get your hands on already done. It's really, really good. I'm not even missing the cheese, but you can, again, totally do that. Put it in like an oven-safe dish. Add a little bit of your favorite like vegan parm. I think that's gonna be your best way to go of kind of mimicking that. Put it under the broiler for a few minutes. You're all set. All right, my friends, I will see you guys tomorrow.